Continuing the discussion about reincarnation, there is a misperception about how God judges people. God judges people according to their unique circumstance. We cannot judge every person. We don't know the depths of their hearts, their motivations, or the things they're living through. Only God does. And there are many factors that go into the evaluation of a person, whether the person is righteous or not. As such, Kabbalah says emphatically that only those who never do a commandment and do only sins, only those are reincarnated 3 times, and if they don't do anything during those 3 times, they cannot be reincarnated again. But anyone who's been reincarnated and has done a mitzvah, done a commandment properly, because God said so, then they're given a 2nd chance and a 3rd chance, and you know what? They give it 4th, 5th, and 6th chances. The only difference between them is that the 4th, 5th, and 6th time that they come back into this world, they have to come back with another soul. That's what's called a complex soul, or Gilgul Kaful. And the reason for that is that the new soul that's born is born together with this old soul in order to correct it. In fact, a new soul can sometimes have up to 3 imperfect souls together with it in order to change them, in order to purify them. And this is the reason why many people have multiple personalities, because they truly have multiple souls. And we'll talk about this at a later time. When a person dies, the first thing that happens is that he is met by those who love him because they've been around him all the time. Your parents, your grandparents, all those who've had contact with you and love you in past lives and are connected to the chain of your soul, they come to greet you as soon as the person dies. However, there is a moment where there's a judgment as to whether or not the soul shall die or not. There's a book called A View from the Top by Ruth Noah, which she describes her near-death experience. She actually died. Her soul was out of her body, and realizing what a shame it was, she hadn't had any time to live and make proper decisions. And at that moment, there was a light that told her to go back into her body. A similar story happened to a Mrs. Silver, who had been in an awful car accident. She was in an oxygen tent, and her friend, Rabbi Shmuel Kaufman, came to see her. And she was unconscious. And he opened the oxygen tent, and he said, "Millie, it's me, Shmuel. I just want to say goodbye to you. How you doing? Try opening your eyes. Millie, please." And the nurses started yelling, and he said to them, "Don't tell me what to do. I want to say goodbye to my friend." And Millie opened her eyes, to the surprise of everyone. And Shmuel Kaufman, the rabbi, said, "Millie, I know that you're too hard to speak. It's too hard for you to speak. If you agree with what I say, just shake your head." And Rabbi Kaufman said, "I, Millie Silver, promise that if I live from this accident, that I will keep Shabbos from now on." And Millie shook her head. Shmuel left, and she improved. And she kept on improving till she was able to speak. Well, Rabbi Kaufman kept visiting her, and she told Rabbi Kaufman that the doctors told her she would never be able to walk again. And Rabbi Kaufman says, "They were wrong about your living. They said you weren't going to live through the day that you got that auto accident, and now you're alive. And I promise you, just as you lived through the accident, you're going to walk out of here, be able to walk on your own feet." She said, "Shmuel, don't say that." I said, "I already said it. It's got to happen." And indeed, 5 weeks later, she walked out of the hospital on her own 2 feet with some crutches, but she walked out. A short while later, she got remarried. She had been a widow, And the couple decided to move to Israel. After a year, they came back. They had tested it for years, decided that they wanted to move to Israel permanently. And when she went to see Rabbi Kaufman, she told him the following: when you saw me in that oxygen tent, I had already died. My soul was hovering above my body. I had no contact with my body. I looked at it as if it was a foreign piece of meat. And I noticed you. I was looking on top, and I saw you opening up the oxygen tent and yelling. And I saw the nurse yelling at you, and you were yelling back. And I couldn't help but smile. But at that very moment, a voice told me to go back into my body and to listen to everything you said. When I opened my eyes and I heard what you said, I realized that if I wanted to live, I would have to agree to keep Shabbos. And as soon as I nodded with my head, I felt myself coming back into my body, and I knew I was going to live. My friends, there's a lot of things scientists don't know. They know nothing about the soul. These stories, thousands of them, this is a real-life story. I heard this from Rabbi Kaufman himself. And Ruth Noah, A View from the Top, famous book. There's many books written on this topic. The truth is, the soul exists, God exists, and there's such a thing as reincarnation. But the first thing that happens is we leave our bodies, and we hover above our bodies, and there's a moment to decide whether it shall be permanent or not. And sometimes intervention can help, and the person returns to life, and sometimes not. It says in the Zohar that when a person dies, the first place he goes to is back to the Me'ora Samachpela, the cave of the patriarchs, which indicate that we first greet our parents and the patriarchs, and that explains why the first thing that you see is a being of light, and those light are the lights of the great patriarchs. People misunderstand and mislabel them as the names of certain teachers, but the truth is, the light is the light of love, the light of the great patriarchs with whom we are attached to, the light of the source of our souls. And these lights show love to us, unconditional love, because you see, our life in this world is a test. If we pass the test, fine. If we fail, we got to go back. And so, happy testing, my friends. Let's make this life the last one we have to live in this world without the Messiah.